This is Paul Merritt's second presentation of Tips of the Week.
Thank you again for checking out another tip. So this one is for the organ as well, about hymn playing. And something I always say to my students and would highly recommend is to think of a much longer beat in your hymn playing. So we want to be playing them in a melodic flowing manner by and large that will enable the congregation to sing in that same way. And if we are sort of plunking along in 4/4, for instance, 4 beats to a bar, that's going against what we would really like to achieve. So instead of thinking in 4/4, often think in 2/2. And instead of thinking in 3/4, often think in 1. It will give the music, the tempo doesn't need to be any different, but it's how you approach the beat and the melodic contour that will make the difference. So let me try to demonstrate that. So on my other tip, I played The Church is One Foundation. So it's written in a very four-square way. I know you wouldn't play it this way, and hopefully I wouldn't either, but... Okay, so that's pretty obvious that that's poor almost in every way. Now, if we want to think of that in 2/2 instead, you'll notice a lot of repetition of harmony. So we might tie notes, for instance, to already give it a little bit more of a melodic flow. You notice that fits the text, and you'll see this over and over again in our hymnody. The church's one foundation is Jesus. I mean, that's even one emphasis to a bar. So if you try to play it that way, it just lifts it off the page. Here's a 3/4 tune. Some of you will use the Ash Grove in your hymn book. To get a feel of 1 to a bar instead of da 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 da. And sorry for having to listen to me singing. This also works very, very well in repertoire. Most of you, if not all of you, will play Bert Vanderhoek's wonderful Trumpet Air. And I'm not going to play it on the trumpet because it's wild at the moment, but it's written in common time. But I think I probably cannot play it in anything else but in 2/2, and that was sort of in 2/2 anyway. But if you play it in 2/2, it just makes all the difference. And even the middle section. Lengthen that into 1 to a bar, and it just, instead of... Okay, and again, probably nobody would do that, but and that puts us teachers out of a job. But if you think of that longer flowing beat in almost everything you do, it's just very, very helpful. I'm going to include a short second tip in this segment. I remember John McIntosh, who our beloved professor at Western and the organist at St. James, Westminster for many years, saying that you should use every stop on your organ in every service you play. And I remember him saying that because that seemed to be such a novel idea. I'd never thought of it that way. Now, that may not be 100% true. You may not be able to use every stop, but all of us can use many more registrations than we normally do in services. I know myself, I would find after a few years I'd get pressing the same preset pistons and the same sounds, and I really needed to kick myself to try to look for new sounds. So, for instance, if you use, and obviously I should say in accompanying congregations, there are far fewer combinations available. You need to support them and be firm and so on. So you can't really do that on an 8-foot flute very well. But for introductions on all your voluntaries and your anthem accompaniments, there are lots more sounds that you can find even on the smallest instrument than we're used to using. So, for instance, if you're used to using principals, try using a flute on the foundation instead. Now, it's not a big difference, but it's a little bit of difference, and you'd be surprised how your people will pick that up, and it'll just pick up the singing a little bit in a way that playing the same old sounds doesn't do. So again, I'll end this tip by saying some of these things, especially using a variety of sounds, are again to keep up your interest so that you're not just going through the motions and doing the same old thing you've always done. So if you're interested in your hymn playing, the congregation will be interested and excited about it too. Thank you.